In this episode, I go trekking up a live volcano in the dark, something I've always wanted to do, so what could possibly go wrong? Hey, I'm Andy and welcome to now episode 3 of my Bali travel series. If you missed the previous one, where I was in Ubud, where I tried my hand at eating some exotic Asian fruits, went to a monkey zoo and watched monkeys playing with themselves, okay. Cooled down at some epic waterfalls and sat in a bird's nest. I'll leave a card above if you want to check it out. Now in this episode I'm still in Ubud, but I've booked a tour of trekking up the active volcano Mount Batur. Now you can't do it alone, that's why you need to book it within a tour and do it within a group and be led up there. We got picked up from our accommodation around about 2:30 in the morning and had a 1 hour drive to the volcano base. Along the way we had a pit stop where we was treated to a luxury breakfast of a fried banana and a cup of coffee. The banana was actually alright. We continued the drive until we reached the base. Got instructed on how we'd go up by keeping in a line and each given flashlights, and then we started off on our 2 hour or so hike up the volcano. There's something quite exhilarating about setting off at the crack of dawn and hiking at this time. And from here you can just get a glimpse of how high you really go up with the faint flashlights in the distance from people hiking. It does start off with quite a flat terrain, then begins to get a bit more steeper where the good footwear is needed and a bit more careful planning of how you step, as it's pretty much just hard and soft rocks. From here you certainly feel high up just from seeing the lights below. However, we're nowhere near the top yet. Hour and a half of trekking up. We're very high up, very steep, but yeah, still a little bit more to go. Around half an hour more, you are met with just some breathtaking views, all ready for the sunrise to peak behind the second volcano. We arrived in plenty of time before the sunrise began, so we had time to get cameras and drones out. It's the perfect place to see sunrise with 360 degrees viewing space. Made it! And while my drone shows you some great shots, I'll go over some key points for you. Once you reach the top, you would have climbed 5,633 feet. I advise on bringing some mosquito spray, although it's not too much of a big deal as I didn't really get bitten and I was in a vest and thin trousers half the time, but I would still bring some just in case. I did still wear a long sleeve top as it was still a bit chilly considering it's the very early hours of the morning. I mean, just because you're in Asia doesn't mean it's hot all the time. Bring lots of water as you'll need it for obviously trekking a lot, but you do get given some on the tour as well as food. Oh, and depending on how many come on the day that you actually come, you will get held up while trekking as there's just people of all skill levels. So just be prepared for very slow people in front of you that you just want to push back down the volcano in frustration. Now, Mount Batur's first recognised eruption was back in the year 1804. And right up to the last one, which was the year 2000, so it's really not that long ago. Within that time, there's been 26 eruptions, with the most devastating one in 1926, with people and buildings being wiped out as there's villages that are literally around the base of the volcanoes. And as soon as the sun rises, it doesn't take too long for it to be very light and just get a whole new perspective of viewing everything here. Just the lush leafy greens and the ridiculous height you've achieved. To me, looking at these shots, you think, how is it even possible to climb it? It just looks so steep and looks like a very jaggedy edge that you're standing on. It's just amazing. After the sightseeing, I took a little break and tucked into my breakfast cuisine I was supplied with. It consisted of 2 slices of white bread, a banana and a hard-boiled egg. Very basic, but however, I made a decent enough sandwich out of it. And I got some pickies done too. I can only apologise for the elephant pants I'm wearing. And then before you know it, the sun is right up in the middle of the sky and you see the sheer amount of people that have been watching it with you. I turned around and didn't realise the other volcano was literally right behind me. I don't think there was any red flowing lava to witness. However, I did see in the distance acres and acres of black lava. This is apparently the lava which still exists from the 1968 eruption, which is pretty crazy. I'm not sure at the time if there was any houses or landmarks in the way here when it erupted. There is a little shrine at the top where locals have brought their offerings, as well as monkeys too. We did see a few here, especially when trekking down the volcano too. I went to inspect the volcano crater a bit more and noticed there is some live steam coming out of it. I wasn't able to get close enough to feel the warmth from it though. And then what comes up must come down, and before we knew it, it was hiking back down the volcano. It was a lot easier and quicker this time, but sometimes it can be slippery as there's some tiny rocks that just tend to give way. And again, of course, some gorgeous views to meet you as you're coming down. And this is it from the bottom. It's weird to think that only moments ago I was literally just at the top of that. We then made it back to our vehicle where we headed back. And again, from this vantage point, you can just see how massive it is. And that's the end of my trekking adventure. In the next video, I finish my time in Ubud, where I find out how animal poo is converted into coffee. Yes, you heard that correctly. I visited the wonderful rice terraces where you can also ride high on a Bali swing. I touched a gecko. I got half naked and got a sexy body scrub. Performed a ritual in a holy Balinese temple and chilled at a day club. So definitely an action-packed episode. Anyway, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.